Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Jesus in Less Than 5 Minutes. Man, check this out. One of the things I've been really reading about and in my devotions and how God's really been speaking to me about is the issue of fear. And fear can actually be an attribute that can paralyze a person. And the reason why I say it can paralyze a person is you've heard of the thing called fight or flight, but then also in psychology they've come to find that there's another thing called fight or freeze, and it's just where people they won't fight, but they won't run away either. And so what they do is that they end up just freezing. They stop. They just freeze up, and it's really kind of crazy because at that moment that person in their mind is, I don't know what to do. It may be an issue of relationships. It may be an issue of finances. It could be anything that can just overwhelm them. Anything that's overwhelming can cause them to freeze, and they literally sit there and they stop and they're like, I don't know what to do. You see it a lot with people who never ever have to deal with certain things like that. They never have to deal with major issues, and a lot of times major issues can cause somebody to just freeze up because, if it's something small, they know what to do. They know that, hey, I can walk away from this and be okay, or they know that, hey, you know what, this is something I need to push through because I need to get on the other side. There's something that is linked with me, and so what they do is they end up pushing through or running away. But then there's like other major issues that are above what they can comprehend, and they literally just freeze up. They're like, I don't know what to do. And I just want to encourage anybody who's out there that's dealing with these kind of things, man. Let me tell you, I have dealt with them too. There have been times where I came across things and I literally felt like, oh my goodness, what do I do? I literally froze. I didn't know what the next step was, how to do it, how to even comprehend it, or anything else like that. But I want to give you some words of encouragement. We all know about the story of Joshua out of the Bible, and how him and Caleb went with 10 other spies to the promised land, and how those other spies were like, we cannot take this land because those people, we're like grasshoppers to them. They're so big and they're so mighty and everything else. We don't know what to do. And Joshua and Caleb were like, hey, we can take this land. We have God. God is the biggest thing in the whole freaking world. He can take these giants out, which is a breath. We can go do this. And so we look at Joshua as like, this guy don't have any fear or anything. But apparently he may have, because in the first chapter of Joshua, God tells him, hey, my servant Moses has passed away, and I need a new leader, and you are it. And so we find in verse 9 of chapter 1, he tells him, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified, and do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that is, that's word of affirmation right there from God. God's telling him, hey, you be strong and courageous, and don't be terrified. He's telling him don't be terrified because he knows he's going to come through situations. It's going to be troubling. It's going to be fearful. And he's willing to let him know that, hey, I will be with you wherever you go. And I just want you to know that even though that he spoke these words to Joshua, he's also spoke them to you. And the reason why I say that, because in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, Paul writes about the armor of God. When he starts out with this section in the chapter, he says, finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. He's telling him to be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. And, those things, and he goes on to talk about how you put on the armor of God and everything. And these two, actually, it's really awesome how these two come together, how they can actually interlink with each other. Josh is going to a physical battle to take over the promised land, and Paul's talking about a spiritual battle that we fight, not with our fists, not with guns, not with spears or anything else like that, but we fight through prayer, we fight through meditation, we fight through knowing God's word. This is what we use. This is our ammunition. This is our weapon right here, and this is the only thing that will defeat the devil. Okay, no matter how strong you are, no matter how many miles you can run, no matter how many people you beat up, you cannot defeat the devil with these right here, or with your semi-automatic pistol, whatever. You cannot defeat the devil with that. It is through Christ and him alone in God's word. So I really want you guys to be encouraged. I want you guys to be blessed. And this has been Jesus in Less Than 5 Minutes. God bless you guys.